Okay, I'm going to show you how to import cards from a spreadsheet into a new Cardsmith board. So if I go to this main menu here and I say import from CSV, you can see here there's instructions and more info. And under here, there's some instructions, but what I'll do is walk you through the process that I use using this sample CSV file. So what I'll do is I'll download that by clicking here. And I've already downloaded that and brought it up here in Excel. You could use Google Sheets or some other word process or Excel like tool, spreadsheet tool. And you notice there's some very specific column headers here. So in my Excel sheet, and this is very important that you use the sample in order to do this, because you're going to want at least the first 5 columns to be exactly like this. So card ID is first, card title, column, row, and color. So when you import from a spreadsheet, it's going to put this into a grid format board. You can always create a freeform board and drag the cards into positions that you want them to be in, but optionally you have the ability to put these cards into specific areas of a grid if you choose to do that. Basically, the minimum is just the card title. So if you wanted to just bring in a list of tasks, you could just fill out this column B with all of the different card titles and then import it and you'd be good to go. Card ID, that's actually optional as well. And I'm going to blank all these out because most typically if I'm importing, I'm not going to have a card ID. But there are more advanced things we might want to do, like we might want to bring in an ID from another system. So if we were using another project management system or some other kind of a system, you might want to bring in that ID. If you were exporting a board to a CSV from Cardsmith, the original Cardsmith card ID will be there, and you would be able to update data from on your cards and re-import it. But for now, we're just bringing in new information. So I'm going to leave that blank. I'll just go ahead and add a new card, new custom card. You can have as many of these as you want. Let's put it in column A, and let's put it in row B. And I'll show you how to do colors in a bit, how to know what the colors are called. They have very specific names. I'll show you where to find those names when we go back into Cardsmith. And then here, let's say we don't have any information. These columns beyond the first 5 are whatever you want to label them. So this one is called a custom text field label. This is a second field label. Let's go ahead and add another field. Let's call it estimated hours. And then for this card that I'm going to add that as 20 hours. All right, so now I've got my list. I'm going to go up to Excel and say Save As. And I want to save this as a CSV, which it's going to do that by picking this here. It's automatically going to do that because I started with the sample CSV. So let me just put this in May 4th. And we'll save that. All right, so we can close this spreadsheet now, and we're going to import to a new board. And again, just to remind us where we were, we're at the home board in Cardsmith, and I'm going to say import from CSV. I'll click that. Let me choose a file. There's the one that I just created, and we'll say import board. And now you can see here I've got a new board here. I can rename it. Let's just call it tasks, and let's look at what happened. So here's our new custom card that we added. If I open that up, you can see there's my estimated hours. This card here didn't have any additional fields indicated, but it did tell it to use the orange color. By the way, if I want to know what these colors are called, I can go into the color picker, and if you hover your mouse, you see here this blue is named C. This one is called aquamarine, etc. So that's the color name that you'll want to put in your spreadsheet if you want your cards to be colored upon import. There's also a couple cards down here that didn't have row and column information, and here you can see those. This is the most minimal card, meaning it was white, didn't have any additional fields. And then this one had those other two custom fields that we added. All right, now you might be wanting to know if I can add cards to an existing board. And the answer to that is also yes. I'm going to go ahead and delete some of the information here. I'll delete that card. Let me just delete this whole row. We'll delete this column. Those columns and rows get built as well based on the information in the spreadsheet. You probably noticed that. And now that I'm in this board, let's see what happens if I re-import that same CSV. So let's do import cards from a CSV file. This is different because we're in this board. We're not in the home board like we were before. So we're going to import cards from a CSV. Again, we can choose a file. We can pick this one. And we'll import the board. And it's going to say, hey, what if a card's already been imported? Should I ignore it or update it? Now, I'm just going to say ignore because I just want to add all the cards from that spreadsheet. And what this will do is essentially duplicate the ones that have already come in. You could use this as a way to be able to edit fields from a whole bunch of cards. Let's say you had a board with 100 cards on it and every card had an estimated hours field. You might want to export that board to Excel and then use Excel to update all of the estimated hours and then re-import that. And if you did that, you would want to say update the matching card. So I'm just going to say ignore the matching card. Oh, I think what that did, oh yeah, that duplicated. So essentially what happened is you added this new one, it re-added the column, re-added the row, and then for all of these we have duplicates. So you'll want to play around with that a little bit and get your process figured out. But essentially you should be able to export from a CSV or export to a CSV from a Cardsmith board, import, make changes, import that spreadsheet again, and it would update your cards. All right, I hope that's helpful, and let us know if you have any questions by using this little pop-up chat here in Cardsmith. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.